This is all on the record, just so you know.
Okay. Sounds like you're about to say something dicey.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I heard what happened, man. Are you good? Are you in a safe place?
Yeah, I'm in a safe place. I don't know what that hat thing was, but I am in a safe place. I had my Instagram account deleted not once, but twice by a former representative of the Israeli government. Her name is Jordana Cutler. She was a like aide to the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. You know, the guy who's wanted for war crimes at the International Criminal Court.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
and-
that guy. He seems like a chill guy.
I mean, the way Donald Trump's hanging out with him so often, you'd think so. He actually seems like a pretty bad hang. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I'm just going based off vibes.
Oh yeah. Him and Michael Rappaport are nightmare blunt
Oh,
relation.
night. Like at that point, I've quit smoking weed, dude, and you know I love weed.
So I guess walk me through because this is your second time banned?
Well, it's actually my third time overall. Our first time getting censored was in 2021. Thank you so much. We've been about this for a while. And we had our podcast page disappeared, the Palestine pod.
Right.
And then we got in contact with some legal folks and we were like, we're going to sue you. That's what we said to Meta at the time. And then they reached out
Wow.
pretty much immediately and they were like, you know what? Our bad. Like, you got it. We
Oh, they said that? Wow.
Yeah, so they sent a representative to talk to us, and they were like, "You guys got caught up at a digital checkpoint." And I was like, "Man, you guys got checkpoints online too. That's crazy. I thought it was
Oh
just
my
in
God.
Palestine." So they were like, "Yeah, it was a mistake. Like it's always a mistake anytime anything happens. Like there's never anything that's happening by like for like on purpose, you know? It's always a
Right.
whoopsie with them." Anyways, so that was in 2021, and we had our account, and you'd face like shadow bans, purging of followers, stuff like that. But then in 2025, May 2025, I had a video pop off, a stand-up clip that went viral where Israelis walked out of my show because they were so triggered by one of my jokes. And I managed to hit the punchline as they were leaving. I'm Jewish and I support Palestine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, you two people. These jokes will hit you individually. You guys hear that story about the Israeli soldier who was eaten by a shark? Okay, what a feel-good story. You know what I mean? Not for him, but for me. Oh, are you guys leaving? Okay, I understand. For sure, sounds good. Yeah, the Israelis, like the shark, it swam past Israeli children, but it didn't hit the children. So even a shark can tell the difference between a child and a soldier. Anyway, so the video just popped off and it circulated
Yeah.
all throughout like Israeli social media. I had like Israeli influencers commenting on it, and it
Oh
got the
wow.
attention of Jordana Cutler, who is now Meta's policy chief for Israel and the Jewish diaspora. That's what's actually on her business card.
In addition to my work leading the Israel public policy team, I created a new role specifically focused on the Jewish diaspora. It is a privilege to represent Meta to Jewish communities worldwide. I am proud that Meta's commitment to addressing anti-Semitism on our platforms has remained steadfast.
I would
That's
like,
insane. Yeah, that's
yeah.
her. That's on the website. This isn't like
Hmm.
that's
No,
like
it's
they're proud of it. It's an insane jump to
yeah.
go from Netanyahu's. What did she work? What did she do exactly?
She was an aide to his office, so somebody who was like involved in the general day-to-day of, the genocide stuff.
Right. And then and Mark Zuckerberg was like, "We need you at Meta."
He's like, that's what makes a team player is how many bodies you've got.
I feel like Zuckerberg just goes with whatever administration is happening. And right now, because it's Trump, they're pro Israel. He's like, well, let's just hire this lady. And so
No,
she
they've
saw
always been
your,
pro-Israel. They've literally
they
always
have.
the company has always been pro-Israel. They have offices in
Wow.
occupied Palestine. They hire people who used to work for Israeli intelligence. There's over 100 people who used to work for Israeli Cyber Intelligence Unit 8200 who now work at Meta. Anyway, so
Oh,
let's get
really?
back. Yeah,
Wow.
dog. Let's get back to Jordana Cutler. She's what I call like the Wicked Witch of the West Bank.
Yeah.
And she used to work for Netanyahu. Then she worked at the DC embassy for Israel in the United States, right? And then she jumped
Yeah.
over to Meta. And now She's basically in charge of clamping down on anything that disrupts the Zionist narrative. Now, let me just introduce myself really quickly. I'm Jewish and anti-Zionist, right? I'm like
That's
kind
kind
of
of, wait a minute. So you hate
kind of
yourself.
rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zionist logic is that I hate myself
Yeah.
because to them being Jewish means supporting a genocide and stealing people's land. I don't know. I'm a part of that old school Jewry where it's like, do not kill, do not steal, you know, but they're like, we're going to kill everyone and steal everything. And so it is a new take on Judaism. Uh,
Yeah, you're a maverick.
it's a bit of a newer interpretation. There's thousands of years supporting what I'm advocating, and then probably only like 150 of what these guys got going on. And so in that way, they're kind of like the ISIS for Jews, right? Because they showed
Yeah,
up
yeah.
like 150 years ago with guns, and they're like, "We're the real Jews. We're taking everything." And it's just like, "Oh, is that interesting?" And that's a
Wait, I
different.
thought Kanye was a real Jew. Kanye said black people were the real Jews.
Kanye's having a tough time,
Yeah.
and yeah. Anyways, the I was wondering how long it would take to bring up Kanye for you. I did.
Yeah, we made it. We
How
made
did we
it pretty
make?
low.
What is it? 5 minutes? Okay, pretty
Yeah.
good. Not bad.
No, yeah, you were saying?
Anyways, so like they're also like ISIS in the fact that they both work for the United States government, right?
Mm,
Um, was funded in Syria to overthrow Bashar al-Assad and trained and all of that. And then like ISIS also coordinates with Israel. Anyways, so I was saying all this type of stuff on the internet, on Meta's platforms, and they were like, we got to get this guy out of here. And I almost made it to 100,000 followers. Like I was pretty close.
yeah.
And yeah, I think that just like my presence and the message that I was delivering disrupted the Zionist narrative enough that they literally kicked me off the website. And that's how you know that like as a social media influencer, you have a good amount of influence.
It's just interesting because like that's a strange way to go about fighting anti-Semitism. You know, one of the things I actually watched a video. This I don't know if you saw this video of her, Jordana, is that her name?
Hmm.
She's speaking about what she's doing, and she's like, in order to stop anti-Semitism, we
Yeah.
silence people's speech.
We banned content with harmful stereotypes about Jews, such as the claim that Jews run the world or other major institutions. We updated our policies to recognize that the term Zionist can be used as a proxy for Jews and Israelis. We banned content claiming Zionists run the world or control the media. And we do not allow for dehumanizing comparisons of Zionists.
Just like, yeah, that's one way to get people to think you don't run the world.
It's a bold strategy, right?
Yeah,
Because it's
that's
like, hey,
insane.
this person called me a cannibal, and what I said is I'm offended, and then I ate them. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Exactly. Yeah.
it's not
Yeah. It's
exactly stopping the rumors
no,
that
no, no.
Zionist
Yeah.
Jews control things, the levers of power. And there was just a report that came out from the New York War Crimes, which keeps tab, and it's also Writers Against War in Gaza. They did like a flow chart of how the New York Times editorial board is largely comprised of Israelis, people who lived in Palestine, people who are
Mm.
like have stolen homes and stuff, people who have either served in the Israeli occupation themselves or have like children who've served in the Israeli occupation. And so I made a little similar flow chart with Meta because I have no Instagram account anymore, so I have a little bit more free time. And let me tell you, there's a lot of connections, right? We started with Jordana
Wow.
Cutler,
Yeah.
who worked for Netanyahu. We have Guy Rosen, who is their chief informational security officer. He used to work for Israeli cyber intelligence, 8200.
Wow.
Then you have all of the people in the Israeli office in Meta, right? They have a full office space there, and over 100 people from the IDF confirmed. I did a quick run on a few, and everybody's name that I ran, 8200, that cyber intelligence unit. That's the unit that's like responsible for Hasbara, all of the people online. So if you've ever like spoken about Palestine online, you've immediately been called anti-Semitic by a 13-year-old you know, who's getting paid to comment. And that's what Hasbara is. Like that's their
Really?
operation.
Wow.
Yes. They
They
have an
pay people to
informational. Yes, not
I'm looking
well,
for a
but
job. Okay, I was
yeah,
about to say I could use a part-time job.
I hear you, but your time would be better spent elsewhere.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Also, I love how you were like, I'm willing to sell out for maybe I don't even know how much money. That's amazing. It took not even an offer of money, just the potential. I like
Just the
that.
potential. Yeah, just in theory, just
Yeah.
the possibility. Hey man, I'm a businessman like Trump. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And he seems to be doing really well. I would follow in his footsteps.
Well, he's
Um,
president. Yeah, again. So
um, so let
so
me
yeah,
let me
they
like they censored me, but let me back up and like talk to people about like why I am where I am right now.
yes, how did
Um,
you get there? How did you go? Because
so
were you ever a part of like the Zionist?
yes,
Okay.
yes. So I am a Jewish American, which means that I was raised in proximity to Zionism. Zionism was all around us, all of our cultural institutions, all of our religious institutions, literally all of our economic institutions, fully entrenched, controlled by Zionists. And so you just grow up or like around Israelis thinking that it's normal that like they exist and like that, like they're just like stealing resources and that's okay. Like that's what you are told. And you aren't told exactly that, but you're basically just told like, we're Jewish, we support Israel. And then I was in college and I joined a fraternity called AE Pi, which is a Jewish fraternity, where as a part of our initiation process, they did some hazing. And a part of that hazing was a replication of the Israeli occupation army's torture tactics, basically.
Mhm.
And so they had us like blindfolded. They had us with our hands tied behind our backs. They threw us in a dark room back to back and they played loud music. And that was for many, many hours straight without food or water. And these are what we call like sensory deprivation torture tactics,
Yeah.
or what, like, the Bush administration would call enhanced interrogation.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but you know, I was uncomfortable, as were like the other 8 American guys who were in my pledge class. Excuse me. So like I was kind of freaked out by it. There were eight other American guys, and then 2 guys who had served in the Israeli occupation army. They were also tied up with us, right? So like they were there in the same pledge class, but their mood was different. They were like laughing and joking the whole time. And so after a couple hours, I just got kind of like irked, and I was like, "You guys are giving off psycho vibes. Like, what's up with you?" You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we're being tortured. Why are you having fun? And they were like, we used to do this to Palestinians all the time.
What?
Bro.
They admitted that? Wow.
Yeah, not only did they admit that, they went on to tell me about how they used to torture Palestinians at large. Like they would do like paper cuts in between their fingers, just really nasty stuff. And like, so yeah, I had never heard anything like that. I had never experienced anything like that, and it fully snapped me into a different reality where I was like, "Oh my God, like everything I've ever learned was a lie, basically." And I had to like fully re-examine my life. And so
Wow.
I actually ended up getting kicked out of the fraternity, which means they also kicked me out of my housing. It's not just Palestinians,
Wow.
also anti-Zionist Jews in college.
Okay,
And
good. Yeah.
although obviously like the main victims of Zionism are Palestinians, specifically Palestinians in Palestine, but also Palestinians anywhere at large. But yes. So anyways, they kicked me out of my housing and also kicked me out of the fraternity. And yeah, I had to unlearn Zionism. I walked past Students for Justice in Palestine. A demonstration. It was Israeli Apartheid Week, and I heard from Palestinians for like the first time, basically the story of them and their family being forcibly displaced by Israeli terrorists, and them losing their homes. They all remember where their homes are. They all have the deeds to their homes and the keys, and it's like these go back to like the Ottoman Empire. And then there's
Wow.
like some dude from Poland who moved in yesterday. So it's just a bad vibe. Like you're not, like you don't want to come from Long Island and displace people who have been there for generations. Like it's
Yeah, not chill.
colonialism.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty harsh vibes, dog. Anyways,
Yeah, man. They are not passing the vibe check. I'll say that about
no,
Zionists.
no. they would get kicked out of the blunt rotation, except they would
Yeah.
kill you anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, and they'll blame you. But it's interesting how they so because the rhetoric is that they're less than people, like
yes,
that's what they're
that's
saying.
what
That's crazy.
Israelis say about Palestinians.
Wow.
And that's what Nazis said about Jewish people. And right, so as a Jewish
Yeah, yeah.
person, it's kind of jarring to see this language be utilized once again in favor of a genocide, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. It's
Some of
like
us
kind of
remember, go ahead.
it's a well, I was gonna say there it's Zionists are cultural they're cultural like it's a cultural appropriation of Nazis. They're taking what Hitler did and I feel like and that happens sometimes I think with minority groups when they're persecuted and then eventually they become the ones oppressing other people. And I feel like so now it's kind of
Yeah, but not
Jews' turn.
always. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't
It
always
doesn't
have to
happen
be that
always.
way. It doesn't,
Well,
you don't have to do a genocide just because a genocide was done to you. Like, that's not good logic. But it's actually astute
yeah.
that you say, like, oh, it looks like they're keeping, like, doing what the Nazis did. Because they are, literally. Like, they are a continuation of the Nazi project. They have
What?
Nazi war criminals who went from Germany after the World War into what is now called Israel, right? What people with a brain call Palestine. And
Right. Yeah.
and so they
Well, we don't
actually
want to get
recruit.
banned. We don't want to get banned.
I
We'll
know
just call
everybody's
it
scared to touch me right now. You know the Midas touch. I'm like the opposite of that, but with censorship. Uh,
hilarious. Well, no, are you off of YouTube as well, or do you
no,
still
I'm
have?
for the time being still on YouTube and still on
Okay, yeah.
TikTok. But we shall see. I know that time on social media is fleeting and could go at
Yeah.
any moment.
Well, hopefully we fix that with this interview.
That's what I think and was hoping to accomplish from this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what was I saying?
Well, you were just talking about how they actually copied what Nazis are doing.
Right, continuation of the Nazi project. So, the Israeli occupation has actually recruited Nazi war criminals. After the United States like signed a treaty and got into the war, like everybody knows that Russia did most of the legwork in the Second World War, but America takes a lot of the credit. Anyways, after
Right.
there was like a treaty between the Axis and the West, um, the United States actually incorporated a lot of the Nazi war criminals into the U.S. government and intelligence apparatus. It was called Operation Paperclip, and that was the effort to bring Nazi scientists, Nazi intelligence assets, Nazi war criminals into the fold of the United States government. And Israel had a similar operation of its own. For example, Warner von Braun is a Nazi who is responsible for creating NASA, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of people don't realize that. And also, there were a lot of people who were supportive of the Nazis in the United States, right? Businessmen like Prescott Bush, George W. Bush's grandfather, actually funded the rise of Hitler, as
Oh,
did
wow. Yeah. Wow.
Gerald Ford and Walt Disney, all these people, Nazis, virulent Nazis in the United States. And then, people kind of forgot about it. Like people just moved on. And so they also went to Argentina. There are entire towns in Argentina that like don't even really speak Spanish. They mostly speak German. And they have like German architecture and it's German families who,
Wow.
you don't want to ask them what their grandfather was involved in.
Yeah. So everybody is I isn't I heard somewhere that the royal family, they're really like German or something like that. Is that have you heard that?
I mean, there's a lot of people who are now involved in politics in Latin America that have German ancestry.
Right. Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
weird. That so we pretty much just so Nazis kind of won, is what I'm hearing.
Well, the Nazis were sacrificed they sacrificed some Nazis in Germany for the Nazis worldwide, right?
Hmm.
But yes, the Nazis are in charge right now. The Nazis control the United States government. They control the Israeli government. Basically, the only people fighting back against the Nazis right now is Yemen, Iran, and like parts of Lebanon, like Hezbollah, and also the
Right.
Palestinian resistance, right? The Palestinian resistance is at the forefront of the fight against Nazis. That's what people don't realize. Is
Hmm.
like they are literally hand delivering bombs to tanks, despite the fact that they've been under siege for like almost 20 years now. And they're still fighting back and winning.
I mean, it's so crazy that this is happening and America, and we fund it. And not only do we fund it, uh, APAC has control over like every politician. I mean, I don't know if you saw the Thomas Massey interview he did with
Yeah.
Tucker, but he pretty much
Yeah.
just admitted that. That's
Yeah.
insane. Everybody has an APAC handler,
And then his
that
wife died a week later.
man, that's crazy timing, right? That timing
I don't know.
is
I'm not, I don't know. I'm
yeah,
not saying
legally
that's,
legally we're not saying anything.
yeah,
But
I am saying the
it,
timing is suspicious.
yeah, the timing is definitely, but you know what? That just it just goes to show you, man. You if you have to be prepared to, I think, pay the ultimate price if you even want to speak out a little bit. And which it's just sad too, because like, even I mean, we're seeing this with the Trump bombing Iran thing. Like apparently, I think that like Trump and Netanyahu are working together, it seems like.
Oh, of
And
course.
Iran, and what happened was, it's funny that they try to say that Iran that we had to bomb them because they're like savages and they couldn't have nukes. But doesn't Israel? Don't they have nukes?
Yeah, they do have
That's
nukes, and they're
crazy.
also
Yeah,
committing genocide. They've
yeah,
been
like actively.
Iran is not murdering people systematically and starving them and then shooting them as they go to get aid. That's not what Iran is doing. That's what Israel
Yeah,
is doing. And that's what the
right.
United States is doing. Yeah, I mean, sometimes
Allegedly,
no,
allegedly.
the United States and Israel,
Oh,
it's
okay.
United States manufactured bombs that are showing up in
Yeah.
Palestine. And so, if the United States stopped sending weapons, the Israeli occupation would fall in a matter of weeks. And that's because
Mm.
like they don't actually have popular support and they only enforce their apartheid through air superiority and bombings. And anytime anything funky goes on with like the legal system where Netanyahu's in any type of trouble, he starts bombing another country just to like postpone his court date. Like that's what
Yeah.
happened with Syria
Yeah.
just recently. I mean, they've already overthrown Syria through the CIA plan, but like then he just started bombing the entire like center of Damascus because he can, because they overthrew Bashar al-Assad with the CIA, and now they no longer like Syria no longer has an air force. They used to shoot down Israeli planes that would come through, and now they can't even respond because Israel has bombed everything.
Yeah.
And
It just say it. Well, I'll go on.
Oh, and the country is being run by a guy who literally worked for ISIS. Like he is the Al Qaeda, CIA, ISIS guy from many years ago. And then they just
Wait, who?
rebranded
Who?
him. Joe Lonnie, his name is Joe Lonnie. And he literally used to do car bombings in Iraq. He used to behead
Wow.
children, right? Like this is the guy who we grew up on, right? I can't believe our generation has forgotten live leaks so quickly.
What's that?
Live Leak is where they used to post the beheadings of ISIS.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did forget. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, the good old
Yeah.
days. Yeah.
This is the guy. This is like
Wow.
the CEO of ISIS is now in charge of Syria, basically.
Man, it's good to see it's a lot of job opportunities.
That's what I'm
A lot
saying.
of
Apparently,
you can work
yeah,
in
if
Meta, you can work in like the government. It's insane.
you could work
And
virtually anywhere.
yeah, it's good on your resume. That's good. I'm learning a lot, because I'm trying to build my resume. So
Yeah, I wonder if he has the beheadings on his resume as a special skill. Because not a lot of people do that. That is true. And
yeah, it's a special skill for sure. Those well,
uh,
but it's just going back to so you got banned
yeah,
and
so
and and
I
it,
as soon as I got banned with 100,000 followers, I reached out to a couple journalist friends of mine. I was like, "Hey, can we like cover this at least just get some like attention around the fact that like," and it wasn't just me. There was another comedian, an Irish comedian, Tag. He's very like popular in Europe and online as well. He has been doing it like skits about, the occupation for many years. and he had an account of like 300,000 that went down. He
Oh
got his
wow.
account back. But in the interview, I said about Jordana Cutler, I was like, she is like the modern day Joseph Goebbels, right? The Nazi minister of information, because she controls what people see, what people hear, what people think, right? Like if the algorithm was boosting Palestinians being shredded to bits, then, you wouldn't have as many people who like were indifferent basically. But like because the
Yeah, right.
algorithm is promoting like, oh, like it's so nice, like you could come to Birthright, you could eat our stolen food, like because the algorithm favors the genociders, they've allowed this like infrastructure of genocide to continue for so long.
Yeah, and I feel like one of the ways I saw that they center specifically like pictures of kids, they censor it by labeling it pornographic, which is
Yeah.
is kind of wild, but it does make sense because if you're a Zionist, you probably do masturbate to dead Palestinians. So I can understand.
Did you know that it's a safe haven for pedophiles? Israel
What
is?
is? It
Israel.
is?
Israel is a safe
What?
haven for Google it. Google it, brother.
Yo,
And this is like not even a
that's
news story.
insane.
This is like
That's insane.
2016. People have sex charges, sex crimes that they do here in the United States. They're about to get prosecuted and they will flee over to occupied Palestine and never face any charges. This is a story that has happened multiple times. It just happened with Brett
Wow.
Ratner, the guy who directed Rush Hour.
Whoa, what happened with him? He's over in Israel?
Yeah, he's a little pedo, bro. And he went to Pedo Island, the next generation. They already kicked off. Epstein's Island season 1 is done, but
The next
Israel's
generation.
still got a few legs left.
Man, well, but that I guess that's a good segue to the Epstein thing because I feel like even MAGA now is waking up to Trump, the 180 that Trump did, the complete like dismissal of how do you run on we're gonna release the list, then you get in office, Netanyahu's about to come and you're like, oh, there is no list. It's actually created by Barack and Hillary, to distract us from trans people reading or something. I was like, I don't
I
know.
mean, can you believe that Donald Trump would lie to the people?
No, it's I was shocked. Me and a lot of other bro sphere, I call them Brogan sphere podcasters, we're all shocked.
Yeah, I'm loving that to see this new backpedal of people being like, I can't believe the guy who went bankrupt fucking lying about casinos would lie
Well,
to us
hey,
also.
I thought I saw Trump as a straight shooter, honestly.
Yes.
And so this is
As long
very
as
disheartening.
whoever is on the other end of the barrel is like Palestinian.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, didn't he use Palestinians as like a slur one time?
He did. Yeah.
It's insane to me. And the Epstein thing is, but where do you think this leads? Because at a certain
Ep-
point, if like he is on the list and he was working for Mossad, right? Or is that
yeah.
is that proven? Right.
Epstein is a Mossad intelligence asset that
That's a
was
fact.
proven by
Yeah.
the United States government when they tried to prosecute him and back from somebody internally that they should back off because he is associated with intelligence.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's proven.
insane.
And then, Ghislaine Maxwell, her father, Robert Maxwell, he was actually an asset. He was an intelligence agent for the Israeli Mossad. So that whole operation is Mossad, Israeli. And it's, I imagine that if there was footage of somebody raping children on an island, it would be pretty easy to control how they vote in Congress or how they
Yeah.
appropriate funds. Um,
So that's
you know,
what so that's why it's kind of a safe haven. That's why it's like pedos can go to Israel and be protected.
yes.
That's so interesting because I always wondered what the connection is beyond Epstein. I was like, I have to look into that. But I think I did hear that somewhere where so is it like what is it with Zionists and pedophilia?
That's a great question. I don't quite have the answer because I did get out of Zionism, so I never got there's like a higher rung of Zionism where they start introducing pedophilia. I never got there.
It's like
But
Scientology, there's
yeah.
levels.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They don't introduce pedophilia immediately, right? Because
No.
that would be, you would be, as an outsider, you would be like, I don't know, I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
It's like by the time you get to be a VP at Goldman Sachs, that's when they're like, hey, by the way, we're taking you on an island trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And everybody well, it's interesting because I don't think this list is ever gonna come out, but Trump is in kind of like a he's in between like a rock and a hard place because his supporters don't seem to be letting this go.
mhm.
And I think that's actually that should be encouraged, even though it's funny to make fun of the brosphere for going after Trump. I think we should actually encourage that because we don't want it to be an actual
Yes.
cult.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Any criticism of Trump is good. I think there's like a bit of like moral posturing that's happening that is
Yeah.
like there's not a ton of legs to stand on, but it's good that like you're awakening and recognizing that like this
Yes.
was a lie. That's good.
Yeah.
Nobody's, and like, hey, we all make mistakes, huh?
Yeah,
Let's
we all accidentally support
a
pedophiles. Who
genocide.
hasn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Who hasn't? Who among us? If
Many
if I
people,
had,
most Americans have accidentally supported pedophiles or a genocide or both.
yeah,
And so if we can collectively move forward from that, that would actually be great.
that would be. So, but do you think that Biden would have been any better? Because sometimes people make the
No,
argument of, okay, right,
no.
yeah,
I don't think Kamala would have been any better. I don't think,
yeah,
like I hate the Democrats. I'm a communist. Like I hate the
right,
Democrats. I hate Republicans. I hate mostly everybody in American politics. I would like to see like an overthrow of the government and a workers' revolution where like we seize the means of productions and distribute it among the workers, right? So that like Jeff Bezos can't rent out a city while people in his own company starve to death and piss in bottles. Right? That's where
right.
I'm coming from.
Well, I certainly hear that perspective, but if I can provide just a little bit of pushback,
Sure.
if we do that and we actually make billionaires pay their fair share, then how will Katy Perry go to space?
That's a
You ever think
really
about
good
that?
question. I don't think about
I'm
that enough.
I'm wearing my journalism hat today. I don't know if you noticed, but that's yeah, we gotta think about the important things,
Wow.
like we can't just well, also I wanted to ask you about
Okay,
this.
Piers Morgan.
Do you condemn? Let me ask you this. Do you condemn Hamas? All right, let's just start there.
I would condemn the Israeli occupation, which has brutally murdered and raped Palestinians for the last 75 years, stolen their land. And in the same way that I would never tell enslaved people that they couldn't rebel, in the same way that I would never tell Nelson Mandela that he couldn't oppose apartheid, in the same way that I wouldn't tell Jewish people fighting the Nazis in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising that they have no right to resist, I stand fully behind the Palestinian resistance.
Okay, well, there it is. You support terrorism.
That's
We
right.
got
Thank
it.
you so much for having me on this interview.
That's yeah, that is so. No, that's a strong stance you have to be anti-genocide. I respect it. Honestly, it takes courage. I'm not there yet. I'm on the fence right now, but I'm
It's
open
actually a
to.
border. It's a wall. It's a occupied wall.
Yeah,
It's
um,
illegal. Many courts have ruled it's illegal. It should be taken down, like the Berlin one. A lot of parallels.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. What's the deal with walls too? Like fascists and walls and genocide. There's a lot of common threads when you look at this.
Yeah.
Trump loves
It's
a wall. He
yes.
loves genocide. Yeah, it's interesting. But I'm not, listen, I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just asking questions.
I
You know
like
what I
that.
mean? Me and Candace Owens.
You're not mad at anybody. There's people committing genocide. You're not mad at them. That's fine. You know what I mean? You're just asking questions, and I like that.
We we
Brother, when's a
listen,
good time to weigh in? A couple years from now? What do you think? How long is it going to take, huh? Do your
I'm
research, bro. Like, let's
I'm in the middle. I'm doing my
That's
research
what I'm
and I have
saying. Take your time reading a book. I don't know what books you got going on, but they must be large.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
I'm
taken a
really just
while.
I'm just watching Ben Shapiro and people. I'm just bouncing around,
Oh, great.
and
That's
he
your best
and
source.
yeah, Ben Shapiro's great. There's a lot of alt-right people that are just telling it like it is, but there is a a civil war within the MAGA movement of, people who are Zionists and people who are anti-war. And I do kind of love to see that, you know.
Yeah. I love to see fissures in any fascist movement, right?
Yeah.
Like it reminds me of the fact that there's Nazis in Ukraine and Nazis in Russia fighting each other right now, which as a Jew, hilarious. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah.
That's what we call a
Yeah.
win-win. That's
Yeah, that's well, that's good. So there's still some good left in the world, Nazis fighting Nazis. But I do want to
yes.
ask you about this. What are your thoughts on Zoran? Because apparently,
Do you mean
you know,
Zoran
yes,
Mamdani?
Zoran Ramadami, as
Okay.
they say.
That wow. Do you remember what you were like before, Austin?
Look, Austin, I woke up. Me and Elmo, we took the red
Yeah.
pill. All right, me and
It's
Elmo
nice
woke
to
up.
be here with Grok.
No, okay, yeah, Zohan Mamadami, Rama,
Zoran.
Zoran. All right,
Yeah.
Ramadami, is it?
Yeah, close enough.
Mamadami, right?
Mom Donnie, but yes, he
Okay,
is
Mamdani.
a
So
Democrat who is
he's a
like,
socialist. He's a communist.
well,
Let's be
I mean,
clear.
he's actually not. And let me tell you, as a communist, he's appropriating our culture. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Wow, I haven't.
Yeah.
It's fun to talk to a real communist to get this
Yeah, he is
perspective.
not a communist. He says Israel has a right to exist, which makes him a Zionist, actually.
Oh,
He has
wow.
just had like meetings with billionaires to assure them that like everything's going to be fine. He just was pictured with Richie Torres, who is a big Zionist like fan and defender of Israel, a guy who represents the Bronx, but is somehow worried about the Iron Dome all the time. And it's like, dog, people in the Bronx are hungry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, what are you
yeah.
doing? You're
Well,
worried
yeah, they're
about,
hungry, but I got to go visit Israel first. It's like we'll
yeah,
get to.
yeah.
That was an
Um,
insane moment.
yeah. So, anyways, Zoran is he's doing the AOC Bernie route where he like appeals to a lot of populist and socialist language, but like he's still a Democrat and he's trying to get people to like reinvigorate the Democratic Party. And I'm not going to say that he's not a better option than Cuomo if you believe in electoral politics. Like, I think that he is better. But I also don't have faith because I've seen this rise of a political figure before who gives great speeches and promises a lot of stuff. Like, I remember Obama, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah,
Obama
yeah.
also used to cloak himself in the Palestinian cause and say that, he cared about it, he was going to make change. And then he got in and he started drone bombing Yemen. And so,
Right.
I've been
Yeah.
around paying attention to politics long enough to recognize patterns. And he's also very close. Mamdani is very close with AOC, and he just got the Bernie nod as well. And so, these are not figures who are actually serious about like helping Americans live better. Like these are people who their
Mm,
entire existence is to keep people invested in electoral politics, especially at a national level, so that they never like storm their city council, so that they never get involved in direct action or mutual aid. And like they kind of continue to believe in this broken system.
wow. Yeah, that's an interesting critique because a lot of the criticism you hear about, Zoran, it comes from the right, but to
Yeah.
critique him from the far left, and it's like, and that's a great point because I remember Obama, I remember Bernie. Bernie talked about a revolution, and then after he got fucked in the ass, was like, we gotta vote for Hillary. So
Right.
it's like,
And
yeah,
Joe Biden. He did it twice.
Andrew about it. Oh my God, man. These people just let you down at the
And
end of the
here's the
day.
thing, Bernie is getting tired, right?
Yeah, he's
They've
old.
been
Yeah.
running Bernie ragged for years now, trying to save the Democratic Party because people increasingly want leftist policies. People increasingly want to have a livable wage, right? To
Mhm.
have health care, to not go bankrupt because they had a small accident, right? Like these are things that people unanimously want across the left and the right. And so, yeah, there needs to be what's called controlled opposition, which like hurdles people back into this theater of electoral politics.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I think that I at first it appeared that these people like AOC and Bernie, they want to help, and then quickly you realize that, oh, they're just more sheeping, hurting people and keeping them. And, they're trying to like stop the bleeding of the Democratic Party, and it's just a shame because then what else is there to do? But I guess my only option is to vote for Trump.
Well,
And
I don't know that that's true
that's
because
that's it. That's all I
we've
got.
seen that Trump is a liar, right? We've seen that he's somebody who was also implicated in Epstein's Island, probably raping children.
But who
So,
isn't? Who wasn't? Who wasn't?
well, no, I hear you. But I do think that although we don't have the specific list, we have a lot of pictures. And so we
Right.
do know that like some people were there, some
Mm.
people probably weren't.
Yeah,
And if you think
that's
about it,
fair.
the world is ruled by pedophiles, right? Because they
That's
had
true.
Prince Andrew, part of the royal family over in London, right? He was a big rapist, like pretended that he didn't sweat on an interview. Like, guy was weird as fuck. Like, I mean, truly. And so, yeah, that's one instance in London. You have all of the top like CEOs and business people in the United States implicated. You have Israel, of course, haven for sex pedophiles. Um, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like this whole operation is run by pedophiles.
It does seem like that it's a pick your pedophile situation we're in right now. I think that at the end of the day, we got to just get over this notion that we're going to have good people in charge. I think that America used to think that the people in charge were good and decent. You remember Nixon? Do you remember Nixon? This
I
guy.
mean, yeah, I don't know that a lot of people thought he was good and decent, but
No, well, I bring him up because in terms of like he stepped down for
mhm.
essentially what, lying
Dude,
and
nothing
like what, doing
basically these
nothing.
days.
What, what do you mean Trump? What, he used his political power to stay in office. That's like every day. Now
Yeah,
we owe Nixon an apology. Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't, but I appreciate that perspective.
Okay, yeah, I think we do. We owe him an apology. He had to hop on a
Hey,
helicopter
why
for
don't
stuff.
why don't you apologize to Nixon?
I will. You know what, Nixon? I'm sorry on behalf of everyone. That's our bad. You know what I mean? I mean, just considering what we have now, because it's like, yeah, it's just a bunch of genocidal maniacs covering for pedophiles. And I
Yeah,
guess that's a great way to end it, on a good note. I
an
want to,
uplifting
but
episode. I hope I don't get
yeah,
you banned off whatever platform you put this on.
I hope not. You think that's you think that they're really going after you, huh?
I wouldn't put it on Meta if I was
Yeah,
you.
that's yeah, that's so funny. Well, hey, listen, I'll put this on Truth Social. That's where this is
Okay,
going straight.
that's where it might be safe. Yeah,
Yeah, and Twitter, I guess that's still a thing. So
Twitter
we'll
should
see
be
how it.
fine.
Yeah, all right, good. Is there anything any like where can people find you and support you?
Thank you so much. I'm doing okay. Check out the Samir Project. It's a mutual aid project in Gaza. They are providing food, water, clothing, medicine to the displaced, besieged people of Gaza. And then also check out a group that was recently prescribed as a terrorist organization called Palestine Action. That's all I'll say about that. And also check out my podcast, The Palestine Pod. And you can follow me on TikTok at MikeyB_on. Thank you so much to my good friend Candace Owens for having me.
Yeah. I'm the Black Candace Owens.
You
All
are
right.
Candace Browens.
Candace Owens. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
People
Yeah.
should read George Jackson. People should
Hmm.
read Thomas Sankara. People should read Malcolm X, Assata
Yeah.
Shakur. People should read Ghassan Kanafani and anybody who was engaged in violent resistance.
There it is. Thank you so much, man. And when you come back in Austin, let me know. I'll have you in studio with Michael Rappaport, and we can
That's
work things
funny.
out.
Dude, we'll fist fight to the death, him and I, and it will be him because he's old.
Yeah, yeah, that guy's crazy. But I love
Yeah.
him.
Do you?
I love watching him. He gets really angry, and it's funny.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you seen him?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if he fell on a subway grate.
Yeah.
But
Hey, come on. There's good people on both sides, and that's all I'll say.
I've heard you say that before, and I just want to dissect that a little more. Which of the people that are raping Palestinians to death are the good people?
Well, you know what? We're all out of time today, but I'd love.
Eh.
Thank you so much, man.